Hello, and welcome again to one of our Connecting Neighbors interviews. Today I'm interviewing Father Joshua Santos, who is a priest at St. Thomas Aquinas Church here in Logan, actually, to be more accurate, at Hyde Park. So, welcome, Father.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start out with asking you about your early life.
I am Father Joshua Maria Santos, and I was born in the Philippines. I have elder sister, which is 5 years older than me, and a younger brother, which is uh, 5 years younger than me. I grew up with I would say, a pretty loving family. Probably we're just on the middle class, and all of us, in the family, the siblings were able to uh, graduate from college. With regards to the neighborhood, I am living in a subdivision, but in our subdivision, right across the subdivision, that's where we have like squatters. I grew up with them. They were my friends. So that's the kind of environment that I have. I had a good um, childhood, childhood years. So until I entered the seminary, of course, when I was 16 years old, that is after high school. So
Okay, so I know sometimes you've kind of alluded to the fact that you might have been a little bit of a stinker, but
I am rowdy. Name it.
okay. When did you learn about the United States and what did you learn? What made you want to come here? Or did you not have a choice as a priest? Did they just say, you're going to the United States?
Yeah, so that's interesting because um, when I was priest in the Philippines, I was serving in a certain province there, and I was nearing the end of my term as the youth director in one of the province. In our community, you are not, when you go out on mission in a different country, it is not by obedience, it is by volunteer. But they needed a missionary worker in Taiwan. And so I applied, probably out of 25 priests or perpetually professed. I was informed that there were just three or five who applied, and I am one of those. And so they asked me if I am willing to go to Taiwan that time. And I told them, yes, I'm willing. I applied anyway. But I told them if it's possible for me just to finish my term as the director of the youth in the diocese, because we have a major event in there. That the major event is like we call it a pilgrimage that normally attends 65,000 young people, 65,000 young people going up the mountains, and I am the head of those. So to leave that behind, um, the diocese might not be happy with that. So I asked the permission from my superior if I could just finish my term there and my work there. And my superior is so generous enough to grant me that, okay, you could finish that term. So to make the long story short, I was able to finish my term there in that province. But before that ends, they asked me, they called me again, Father, we already sent a missionary in Taiwan, but we need another missionary, and that's in the US. So I don't have any concept of doing mission in the US, um, but nevertheless, I said yes. So that was they informed me, I think 2012, the year 2012, when they informed me, and then I processed my papers. 2 years I was placed in a certain province. I was asked to build a regional center for the community, and thanks be to God, I was able to accomplish that. And then in less than 2 years, all of my papers are ready, and so they sent me to the United States.
Before you came to the United States, what did you know about this country?
When I arrived at the United States, um, it's different. I see priests that are uh, trying to live a holy life, a good life, and I see the need in the ministry. And so I just love serving the US. But initially, it um, if I had a choice, I would have chosen Taiwan than the US.
Where did you live when you first came to the United States?
I live in California, in Cerritos. So I
And
serve there at Holy Family Catholic Church in Artesia. When I arrive also there, it feels like home because probably 70 or 80% of the population are Filipinos. So you don't feel homesick at all.
so you weren't even sure you were here, huh?
It doesn't feel like US actually, because we're surrounded by Filipinos.
Okay. So when you first came here, my question was, did you face challenges regarding your language or for being familiar with your cultural experiences? But it sounds like you were basically right in your cultural experiences.
Yes, yes. I didn't have any difficulty at all, and I am grateful to the Lord for that. When I arrived here in Utah, like it is my first time to be alone, really. You know, normally I am always with the community of priests that I know since high school, but this is my first time to arrive in Utah. Surprisingly, um, I didn't have any difficulty.
You mentioned in one of your homilies a couple of months ago that in your country, the words depression or anxiety were not used a lot and were not
Mhm.
really issues. Tell us about that and
Yeah.
how that was different here in the
So
United States.
when I say squatter people, they don't have their own home. I mean, they are illegal settlers. They build their house there, but it's illegal. So they were really poor people. You enter their home, which they were my playmates. I mean, I entered their home. It was a miserable life. Coming to the United States, 2014, I am in charge also with the young people, young adults there, and they were talking about anxiety and anxiety attacks, depression, suicide. It just that it just I just couldn't. It just wouldn't click on my mind because, wow, I mean, they are surrounded already with food, with the things that they need. Why they are depressed? It doesn't it it doesn't sit well on me. I just couldn't understand that until I studied my masteral in Loyola Marymount University. um, I I I took the pastoral theology, majoring in spiritual direction, and then I realized, this is really a reality, that I wanted to face, and I wanted to face it that I am equipped with the knowledge. Everyone is important. That is why um, these young people, especially the young people, uh, from us adults they need to see that. And at the same time, a message for the young people: don't lock on their rooms. That is the key to my that particular reflection. The more you isolate yourself from people, the more you will be sad. And if only you could think of trying to reach out to that person who are suffering miserable than you are, helping others is something that is not only helping other people, it's also helping you. So
Sure.
that's what I always tell to our to our young people. When you're sad, never lock yourself away from others. All the more you have to be with others. When you made mention about hugging, of course, COVID-19 prevents us from doing that. But psychologists would say uh, and 4 hugs. At least you need 4 hugs a day in order for you to thrive. Whether that's true or not, but I believe there's power in the human touch. There is. There
Right.
is.
Uh, when you came from your country, uh, I'm assuming that most of the people religious you were around were maybe Catholic. Is that a true statement mostly?
Yes,
So then you come
yes, it
to,
is because the Philippines is they say it's a Catholic country. You know, we are a Catholic country, so predominantly it's a lot of Catholics there.
okay. So then you come to Logan, Utah.
Mm.
What were there things that you expected or didn't expect as far as when it comes to the culture here with the religious
Uh,
culture?
Prior to Logan, Utah, I was assigned in St. Ambrose. That's in Salt Lake City. So um, I was not, should I say, surprised, or I wasn't really, expecting that there will be a lot of people, knowing that the Catholic population, Utah in general, is slim. So the initial feeling is, I'm happy that I was able to come over to Utah and serve. That's the initial feeling that I had. And I since coming from the Philippines, and then California, where you have 9 masses. In the Philippines you have 11 masses, and then you travel from one place to another because there's a main church and there's chapels. We call it here missions. So we cater to that. And so that's what I did when I was in the Philippines. And then coming to the US, same thing. We have 9 masses, but it's just across. You just need to walk like 10 steps. You're inside the church. So it's kind of what do you call that? An easy life, I would say. It for probably in the eyes of some it could be tiring, but it's just for me. It's just a break. It's a vacation. Then moving here in Logan, same thing.
So no wonder when Father Regilio had COVID and you had to take over things, and then he had to
Mhm.
go to Mexico to get his visa renewed. You had to take
Uh-huh.
over things, but you always seemed like you always had time for people and you were always happy. And I guess now I can see why, because you thought you were on vacation.
It's like my experience in the Philippines stretches me a lot. That I was able, and I'm glad that I was able to do all of these things here.
With the Newman Center, uh, tell us a little bit about that. How do you interact? How are you able to interact with the young people? Do they attend church? What is your connection up there? Tell us about the Newman Center.
With your question here in the Newman Center, so we have daily masses, and then prior to daily masses, we have a schedule of adoration and confession. Normally, it's just Monday, but I am there every single day, 5 to 6, doing adoration and then making myself available at the back if ever people or students would like to talk to me or go to confession before our mass. So I would be there. And then on Mondays we have a Bible study, and then on Thursday, we have the men and women's night. For this year, we had our topic, and the topic of the search, right? So that's what we use during this time. So we have some sharings, all of that, and then aside from that, we have some dinners too. So whenever it's the feast of the Blessed Mother, or a special piece of Saint Jerome, for example, or Saint Jerome, uh, we go out and eat together. So or cook there in the room. Sometimes I cook food for them as we celebrate. We also have some game nights. We play game, of course, play games, and then um, what else? Of course, the Sunday masses, and then yeah, during this COVID times, it's our schedule are really uh, what do you call that? Not as much as prior to COVID, because prior to COVID, we would go to Salt Lake City for diocesan activities. So there were a lot participate in the March for Life. So there's a lot of things prior to COVID, but during COVID times, we are limited. So
Sure, sure. So, Father, what can you suggest, or what would you like to see in the community, in Cache Valley? How can we be better neighbors to each other?
I love the community. When we had the COVID problems, St. Thomas Aquinas opened up, and a lot of people from different religious tradition came over and helped out, young and old, little children, not so young anymore. They help. They drive to these different places. The students also help. It's just, I think that's one of those things that I love about this community, and for me, that's for me. That's a miracle. I haven't seen that kind of people really coming together from different traditions just for one common goal, which is really to help this our families who are in need. The second thing also that I love is the loaves and fishes. That I volunteered on that in I forgot where it is, but yeah, I see people coming together, also helping out our less fortunate sisters and brothers. If you ask me what are the things that we need to do, there are already established institution around Cache Valley. All we need to do is really go out and be there for our people. And I would like to see more young people participating in this beautiful activities that is around us in helping others.
So, I do want to mention too that if I know people are always welcome to come and visit at St. Thomas Aquinas. They would like to come and see what our Mass is about. Not that they don't have to worry that we're going to grab them and try to change them, but that they're always welcome to come and participate in our Masses.
So I mean, all you're right. All are welcome. So we are all the children of God, and so we have to be one. And there are also people who are non-Catholics who are confused or not knowing what their religion should be. I journey with them, and I just journey with them, and then hopefully they could find the religion that would give them peace.
Right.
So
Right.
so all are welcome.
Okay. Well, Father, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, even though you think you're on vacation. So, well, thank you again for sharing this time with us.
Okay, you're welcome, Carol.